The major reform in India's examination or admission structure. Has the common entrance exam been hit by chaos? Will the common university entrance test provide really a level playing field to all students getting into universities, or is it a boost for the coaching industry? Will the CUET lead to inequality, and is it really a level playing field? Joining me now first is Professor M. Jagdish Kumar, Chairman of the University Grants Commission. Appreciate your joining us, Professor Kumar. You're seeing students there complaining, sir, that some students are hardly getting 3 to 4 days to prepare for the same subjects that other students will get 23 to 30 days. Isn't that prima facie unfair and unequal way of conducting an exam, a recipe, sir, for chaos?
Rajdeep, certainly I wouldn't use words like chaos, unfair, because this is the time when the students are preparing for an important event in their life. They are going to write the common university entrance test. I think as teachers, as parents, as media persons, we should allay their fears. If there is anxiety, if there are questions in their minds, we need to clear them.
No, so please clear these questions. Students are saying that the same set of subjects, they will have 4 days to do it and others have 23 days. That does, that, as I said, prima facie seems unfair.
Rajdeep, there are major entrance tests in our country, such as JEE and NEET. There also large number of students participate. But in NEET, for example, there are only 3 subjects that the students write, physics, chemistry, and biology. In JEE, only maths, physics, and chemistry. But if you look at CUET, there are 27 domain subjects, and the students can write 2 language papers and a general test. So if you look at our higher education, there are nearly 4 crore students, and out of that, 70% of the students, they study BA, BSc, and BCom. Only 30% of the students are in engineering, medicine, law, agriculture, and other disciplines. So therefore, the diversity of the students, the diversity of subjects is very large in CUET, and that's the reason why we need to spread out this examination over a period of a few days in phase 1 and another few days in phase 2. And as far as the unfairness that you are referring to, because some students have the exams earlier and some students have later, there is no need for worrying about this, because when the evaluation is done, when the percentiles are calculated, they will be calculated for each batch of students who are writing on a particular day in a particular subject. Therefore, there is no cause for concern here.
There are those who are saying, though, that more than knowledge of subjects, this is going to be a test of stamina. Ability to stay at high focus levels for a few hours. Within the space of 3 or 4 hours, they'll have half a dozen subject multiple choice questions, yes. But that's a lot of pressure. You've already finished your 12th standard exam, and now you're putting more pressure on the students.
This is where, Rajdeep, we need to tell our students that for CUET, only the 12th standard syllabus will be used for setting the question papers. And the students have just finished their board examinations, and whatever they have studied, it is fresh in their minds. I would like to add a couple of things here, because some of the students have expressed their concern about, for example, if there are rains and floods, what will happen to us? Will exams take place? I would like to assure the students that if such a thing happens, if the district administration confirms that the exams could not be held because of these reasons, we will reschedule the examinations for such students. And there are also questions about,
Sir, just a minute. Yeah. The problem that is, from what you're saying, it seems to me that you have ended the significance of class 12 exams. For me, for people like us who went through school, 12th standard exams were important, what marks you got. Now that doesn't seem to matter if you have to get into a college of your choice. You will only allow the coaching institutes to thrive once again. Now there will be coaching institutes for the CUET exam. I'm just trying to understand what sense this makes. You seem to believe that the present system has broken down and therefore you need to fix it. Is that the reason why you've decided to go with the CUET?
No, I have never said the present system has broken down. All that I am saying is, earlier we were using skyrocketing board scores, 99% and 100%. for university admissions. But now all that is past. Even if the students get less percentage, or if there are variations, whether the student gets 80% or 85%, that's not going to affect their admission process. And also, Rajdeep, let me tell you that if you look at the board performance of the students who join in IITs, for example, almost every student, more than 99% of the students, they get above 75% in their board exams. That shows clearly that our students are not neglecting their board studies just because there is an entrance examination. And why single out CUET? We do have multiple entrance examinations in our country. We have JEE, we have NEET, and the kind of coaching that you are saying, that has been there for a long time in our country.
Okay.
Just don't blame only CUET for the coaching industry.
Before I widen this, I will ask you one last question before you leave us. That are you telling me that if I appear in the phase in July, my marks will be different to those who appear in August and get more days to prepare? Are you saying that allowance will be made for the fact that I have had only 4 days versus 30 days, yes or no?
You see, what we are going to do is calculate the percentile for each set of students. Therefore, whether you are writing now or later, it should not really matter. And looking at the number of subjects and the number of choices that we have given to the students, it is necessary to spread the exam over a period of a few days in phase 1 and also a few days in phase 2.
Okay. Let me leave it there, Professor Kumar. You've tried to answer most of the concerns, and I'm glad that you've come and done that, because at the moment a number of students are very anxious. But thank you very much for joining me here at the moment. Now, that was the UGC chairperson. Let me widen this, because Professor Dinesh Singh, former Delhi University Vice Chancellor and Chancellor at the K.R. Mangalam University, is joining me. Dr. Usha Ram, educationist, and Professor Anil Kumar, Professor Department of Commerce, Sri Ram College of Commerce. Dr. Usha Ram has also been involved with CBSE exams. You might have all heard what the UGC chairperson said. Professor Dinesh Singh, you first. Are you satisfied? Do you believe that this country needs now another exam for students to improve the quality of admission processes for colleges, or are we creating more chaos and more confusion?
Rajdeep, I paid attention to what Professor Kumar had to say, and in all honesty, he's trying to do a good job, and it's not easy. So I can understand his difficulties. But, you know, there are larger issues at stake here, which I think we must take into account. I don't think India has a very good track record when it comes to any kind of examination, let alone entrance exams. And in the entrance exam arena, we've done rather poorly. Look at the IIT entrance exams. I have been sort of witness to how they have degenerated, and I use the word consciously. It's a degenerate species of entrance examination. What have they done? You know, they started out with good intentions, where you want to pick up good students, etc. Nobody ever thought that why can't you pick good students by ensuring that the state boards, the CBSE, the ICSE conduct their exams in a good way, an enlightened way. And you could say, okay, one board is very liberal with its marks. Well, do something about it. Make sure that you normalize the process. There were so many other ways.
So you're saying it would have been better to fix the existing system rather than creating a fresh problem. Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely, Rajdeep. The IIT entrance exams were, to my mind, they were unnecessary. They should have relied on the state boards with minor, you know, adjustments here and there. They could have done a good job, because they have degenerated like anything.
Okay.
And we haven't been able to put a stop to that. So what assures me now that the CUET will not degenerate? That's my worry. I must admit that it is well-intentioned. It's part of the national education policy. But in the entire policy, this is the one part that raises some concerns.
Let me get you in, Professor Usha Ram. I want to understand, Dr. Usha Ram, I want to understand from you, are we suggesting that the existing CBSE system in this country has broken down? That some states will give you, are liberal with their marks, give you 99 out of 100, you get 100 out of 100. Other states are tougher, and therefore you needed a common entrance exam to get people into central universities.
This was, Rajdeep ji, this was basically to see that all the students get a chance for admissions. I won't say that some states they were giving more marks and some states they were getting less marks. I'm not talking about that at all. Marks were there, more or less, sometimes more, sometimes less. But then the other children were not getting a chance. Now everybody will get a chance. Let them all appear, because only 12th standard syllabus. You know, it's not more than that. Of course, something which is started.
But another exam.
You know, there are
but
certain
ma'am, no, you're saying,
nitty-gritties that they
ma'am,
have to
I'm
look
sorry
into.
to intervene. You're saying let them all appear again. So I've just finished my 12th standard exam.
It is just
and I do
multiple
another
questions. They already know.
One. Okay.
See, they already know. It's only 12th standard, whatever they have done, it's multiple choice question, and it is for the benefit of the students. Let's look at it from their angle. See, the maximum benefit will come to the students. See, so much of work has gone into, NTA is working so hard, so many papers have been prepared, so much of work has gone into it, so much of labor has been done. For what reason? It's only for the students' sake.
Okay.
That all the children should get a chance to appear for their, you know, for the university.
You're saying that it equalizes.
Let them appear for this kind of exams.
You're saying it creates equal opportunity for students. Professor Anil Kumar, you're at the Department of Commerce, Sri Ram College of Commerce, a college that everyone who wants to do commerce chooses often as their first choice, and many of them get 99.9 or even 100%. Do you believe this is a better system to decide who gets into elite colleges?
Certainly, 100%. I am in the agreement that this system is far, far better, because in the previous system which we have been adopted so far, you know, the students coming with 100% marks and getting 100% marks in almost all the subjects. The big question which we used to ask was that, is these marks reflective of the genuine abilities of the students? We found that there had been wide variation in the evaluation standards of the board and the curriculum standards of the board. And we should not forget that it's a federal structure. We have to take all the boards into consideration when it's a question of admission.
But Professor Kumar, you answer this. No, but Professor Kumar, you answer this for me. If there is a student today who's got his form and has to do an exam in 4 days, and another student has to do his exam in August, the student who has to do it in August has more time to prepare, yes or no?
No, I do not agree with this, because it is not the rote learning kind of exam. This exam is going to be based on the basic concepts which the student has learned throughout the year. Whether the student appeared today or after 10 days, it hardly makes any difference. And as has been clarified by the UGC chairman himself, that there is going to be, the kind of parity between the days also. But even I don't think that that's not needed. It's not the test of rote learning, I'm again repeating.
Okay, so you're saying
the test of the basic learning and the concept.
Okay, so in a way there is an admission in what you're saying, that the existing system has been based on rote learning and the government wants to move beyond that. Dinesh Kumarji, as a final word, do you agree with that, that maybe therefore you needed the change? Or are you saying that the change could have been done by in a way without having an entirely new exam that could lead to another coaching industry flourishing?
The features that are being put into this exam, what prevents us from putting those features into the CBSE and other board exams? That's my point, Rajdeep. We need to mull this. I'm not running this down. It is, the idea behind it is well-intentioned, but there are many issues that are of concern here. That's my thing.
No, but then let's abolish, then why don't we just abolish the 12th standard exam? Why put so much of focus on 12th standard exam? If after 12th I want to go to IIT.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Dr. Ram, you're laughing. You don't agree? Let's get away. If we think that the 12th standard exam leads to rote learning, let's forget that and let's
understand.
Choose.
No.
No, I don't agree. I don't agree with this.
It's not like that.
Yes.
See, for 12th standard, for 12th standard, we have the testing modules and we test different subjects. But when we are talking about CTUT, we are just talking about the multiple choice questions, so that all the children get the same type of, they can show their abilities. Sometimes they are not able to show in CBSE examination. Some children get 100 out of 100, others don't get it.
But I may get 100 out of 100 in, ma'am. I may get 100 out of 100. No, just a minute, ma'am. I may get 100 out of 100 in CBSE, and then comes along this exam where I do badly. What does that mean?
So you have to go by this only. You cannot go by CBSE because this is another one that we are testing now. So we have to look into this.
Okay, Professor Kumar, you wanted to make a point. You
but
also
anyway,
yeah,
that will not
Rajdeep, I
happen,
would say
Rajdeep.
that
It will
means
not.
what you mean
It
to
will
say
not
is
happen.
that
Okay, you are saying it won't happen. Let Professor
11th
Kumar
class
respond.
marks, that means are redundant. There is no use of that 11th class marks even. I do not agree with this. In fact, the learning has taken place in the school. There is examination. You imagine the kind of stress which the students were undergoing, that it's a board examination. It was a kind of a hawa before them, you know,
Okay.
getting 95 plus marks and having no admission anywhere in tier 1 cities. You know, what's the fate of those students?
You know,
You are just judging that whether you have been able to write. I'll tell you the pattern which used to be followed. That in one question, write any 5 points. If a student has written 5 marks, 100% marks are given. Is this a learning?
Okay.
So this kind of examination will take care of this, you know. It has to be beyond rote learning. The fundamentals should be clear, and this has also been envisaged by the National Education Policy 2020. So I believe that it is in the right spirit that this kind of examination has been introduced. It has been long felt by us and by so many academicians all over the country.
Let me leave it there. At the end of the day, this is the first year, first show, and therefore we will see how it plays out. I'm only glad that I'm not a student anymore. So many exams, each one has to be cleared with fine marks. But I appreciate Professor Dinesh Singh, Professor Anil Kumar, Dr. Usha Ram joining me on our big talking point.
But Rajdeep, one word, you are
Yes.
free from the stress of board examination now. And you will be a student.
No, I'm free from the stress of examinations. Thank you all very much, though, for joining us. Maybe the stress is just doing a show every night. That's another stress we'll talk about on another day. Thank you all very much for joining me on the show tonight.